All right. We're going to still talk about Madden a little bit here. And y'all know I am a roster creator. I do it. I love it. I love it when people create rosters. It is just like, yeah, it's dope, right? So I was thinking I'm probably going to do some sort of Madden roster this year, or at least I'll do some sort of collaboration with somebody on a Madden roster. So I'm going to throw these out here. Y'all tell me in the, comment sections in the chat or whatever, what you think. Like some of these are like grade these on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being most intriguing, 1 being I wouldn't download that if somebody paid me, dog. One of them, right? So the first one is just your general, flat out, plain old, all-time roster. You do some work, you do some research, which I already have a spreadsheet because I'm just that kind of dude. You do some research to figure out like who are the, fill out a depth chart for every franchise with the best players. Like I usually do a no duplicates thing, right? Because the duplicates, I like to make the choice, right? So this shouldn't be much of a choice, but you got to choose between Peyton Manning on the Colts or Peyton Manning on Denver. Okay, if you picking Peyton Manning on Denver, clearly you live in Colorado on a mountain and the air is thin where you live. So you trying to make the case that he should be on your team. No, we all know he's a Colt. So, but that kind of stuff. Oh, here's a good one. Marshall Faulk, Rams or Colts. I would definitely put him with the Rams and not with the Colts. So Eric Dickerson with the Rams or the Colts. Isn't that something how both of those two great running backs spent the time with those two different things? But I think Dickerson also played with the Raiders later in his career. But nonetheless, that kind of thing is what I'm talking about. And you decide which player goes on which team. One of the things, I'm going to tell you one of the players who is always one of the most divisive when it comes to an all-time roster, without question, is Bo Jackson, right? Because Bo Jackson does not have the statistics to make the Raiders all-time roster as a running back. He just doesn't. If you look at his career, that's why it's such a tragedy, because we all know what he could have been, but he didn't become that because of the injury, right? But so are you basing your all-time roster off what's dope and fun? Because obviously Bo Jackson should be there then. Or are you basing it on what the numbers actually say? So that's an interesting kind of concept. The other thing is, do you put in where does it start, right? Because like 1950s football is way different than from 1995 on, right? I mean, you're talking about offensive linemen in 1950 and 1955 who would be undersized linebackers today, kind of a thing. So, how do you do it? But I think either way, it's pretty cool. Now, another option, and I did this for MLB The Show 20, as a matter of fact. Greatest teams in history. And what I mean by that, you go through every franchise. And I'm not saying you take the all-time rosters. This concept says you take the best individual teams from those different franchises. So you might have the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears. You pick one of them Cowboys teams from the 90s that you think is the best, or maybe you go to the 70s. You take one of the Steel Curtain Steelers teams. You try to pick if you want the Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl team for the Packers, or you go to the 60s with the Lombardis, and you put them all in a roster, and you have a franchise or a season with them. I think that's pretty dope. I don't know. I should be checking to see what y'all are giving the ratings. I asked y'all to rate these 1 through 5, but I don't know if you did it or not. Y'all probably did. Y'all didn't do what I asked. I asked y'all for a favor, man. That's all I did. I said, well, you give this thing a rating. Ain't nobody said nothing. And Amnesty Sports is rating them wrong. I said, give it 1 to 10. He gave a letter grade. That ain't it. Oh. Yeah, Bo. Yeah, like Madden Gamer said, Bo was splitting carries with Marcus Allen, right? I mean, Bo was like playing fullback. You know what I'm saying? Definitely 10 for the all-time roster. Okay, I feel you. I got you. All right, the next type of roster is what I would call an alumni roster. Now, I actually did this on 2K. I called it. It was kind of like that. It's called a going home roster. So I did it based on hometown and not college. But we probably need some help from some modders to do this. Like, I don't know if you've seen the college football revamped mod. It's insane. It's crazy the work that they did, right? to basically put all of the collegiate, well, not all of them, but 32 collegiate logos and teams in there. So my thought is you take the 32 greatest programs in college football history, and you that's a debate in itself, right? So Alabama, Notre Dame, Texas, USC, Michigan, Ohio State, and you just kind of chop it down from there. The 32 greatest football programs in history, and then you take an all-time alumni team from each school, put them in a franchise or in a connected franchise and let it play. That's dope in itself. Or you can take your school, take control of Alabama. That's cheating. That's cheating. But and just run through it. The other thing, which is something that I just saw somebody doing, I think his name is Sean Zan. He hit me on Twitter. He said he was doing a completely fictional roster. I didn't even ask him to do it, but it was dope. So he was doing a completely fictional roster, which I've done, which I'm actually kind of going to show y'all a little bit of that a little bit later in the stream, what I did with MLB The Show. But of course, Junior and I did a completely fictional roster on NBA 2K called Umbra. So Sean Zan, and I hope I'm not saying his name wrong, he's doing, I think he said more than halfway through, a completely fictional roster on Madden. And guess what the dude did? The dude made me a quarterback. He made me a quarterback on the joint. I think that's just dope. I think that is just fire. You understand me? Just dope. But yeah, that's a dope. The completely fictional thing is crazy. Now here's something that also I'm going to show y'all a little bit of later on the stream. I like to doing the cross sport thing, like so football players playing a basketball game and vice versa and all that. NBA Madden roster would be kind of dope, but what would make it even doper is if the Bears were like the best players in Bulls history, and like the Green Bay Packers were the best players in Bucks history. You kind of give it a little geographical connection like that. It'd be really dope if a modder could make NBA style jerseys in Madden, which I've seen mock-ups of this, not in Madden, but in people just doing like, artistic mock-ups for like, infographics and stuff. I've seen them. Having that like in Madden, that would be stupid. That'd be ridiculously dope, right? I would love to see it. I'm crazy. I'm out here, man. I'm doing different stuff in my head, like things that go on in here. See, that's why my head's so big, because it's a lot. You need room for all the stuff that's running around in here. I couldn't have a little head. If I had a little head, it wouldn't be no room for all of this stuff that be running around. It just wouldn't be. It would just run out. So you never know. You never know.